organized today in Mumbai in the World Trade Center. We have heard about what the MSMEs, how their importance is for the Indian economy. And you would be reading in the reports that the Indian exports have been resilient to the extent that the export volume and the value as well has been growing despite of facing all the headwinds that we have been. And with the situation now expected to settle down, these exports will be growing much more. This is the expectation from the Indian economy. And the role of MSME is very, very critical for our export growth. With the foreign trade, free trade agreements which have come in force and which are expected, like for India-UK Comprehensive Economic Trade Agreement, that is going to come into force from 15 July 2026. A large number of benefits will be accruing to the MSME sector because the government is cognizant of the requirements of support being given to the MSME sector, and all the kind of facilities that have been created through free trade agreements and other such mechanisms has been very, very strong. In this regard, I want to mention about the export promotion mission, the latest mission started by the Government of India in league with other stakeholders of the ecosystem of export, where the whole of government approach has been followed with support from the banks, like Exim Bank, one of the organizers today, and the export promotion councils, the state governments, the central government agencies, with the support of RBI, Finance Ministry, and the MSME Ministry of the Government of India. The export promotion mission consists of two limbs. One is the Niryat Disha and the other is the Niryat Protsahan. The Disha leads to the support in creating more access to the foreign markets, creating logistics and warehouse related facilities, helping the hinterland exporters for the transportation bit, and about the trade intelligence to be developed. Whereas the Niryat Protsahan gives the support for the interest subvention and other kinds of financial support, which will help the MSME which are eligible for the mission. This is a very large outlay of 25,000 rupees, 25,060 crores over the period of 5 years up to 2030. And the expectation is that this will provide the fillip to the people who need the support for export finance, export facilitation, including packaging, the kind of intelligence that needs to be developed for capturing the foreign market and the emerging markets. And one important thing is that the e-commerce export, that is being provided support in the sense that the credit guarantee for the working capital, that is very beneficial to the exporter. And e-commerce is a definite area where supports will help the Indian exporter grow faster.
Also, we have seen.
So this one is just not a financial support. This is a bouquet of all kinds of support. If you are an exporter and you want to grow, or you are a manufacturer who wants to become an exporter, then the whole business cycle of your thought process of economic processes, that has been taken care of. Like you want to have a market access, there you can go and take part in a trade fair, in an exhibition, and kind of buyer-seller meet and reverse buyer-seller meet. So everything that is in the life of an exporter, from taking an order to packaging to facilitation for trade compliance, for testing, for creating working capital requirements, for pre and post shipment credit, everything you can think of and wish for, because this scheme and this mission has been created after a lot of consultation with stakeholders across the country.
Sir, in your speech you mentioned about that the e-commerce exporters has a huge potential. So what kind of targets they can set? And the second part is that amid this global uncertainty, which international market can the exporters in general can hit, and e-commerce exporters in particular?
So that's a good point. The e-commerce caters to requirements of a global consumer base. So the platforms which are there, online platforms, and leveraging the supply chains like India Post, our own postal department, Government of India entity, which provides very competitive rates for supply of goods abroad. So that can be leveraged to create a situation where our small consignments can be sent at a competitive rate to a foreign country. The requirement is for a e-commerce platform to be utilized by our exporters and manufacturers, and be confident about the kind of credit support that the government is giving, and cover their consignment through the ECGC guarantee. ECGC, the Export Credit Guarantee Corporation, Government of India entity, which provides support for sort of insurance for the export goods, where your supplies are guaranteed for their finance outcomes, that is your trade receivables. So in that sense, if we are able to cater to the demands of various, as I mentioned, if the demands are changing, the kind of packaging, the kind of products, the kind of quality, if we are able to cater to that particular thing, the needs of the consumers. E-commerce has immense potential. As I mentioned, $300 billion of exports on e-commerce by China. The target is, even if we double it in the next 2 years, 3 years, that should add to $10 billion or more exports by e-commerce. So the potential is very huge, because we are a large country with large number of MSMEs having capacity to manufacture quality products.
So with all-
Typical assessment is that we have a target of doubling our trade volume in the next 5 years. So if we double our trade volume with the FTA country, the potential is that our target of reaching $1 trillion of merchandise exports in 5 years' time, that should be possible to be achieved. That is the thought right now.
Because of this FTAs only.
It is a bouquet of everything. All factors. E-commerce will add, our quality improvements will add, the kind of credit that is being provided through the export promotion mission, because it's not in a vacuum. It is a combination of all the factors that we are encountering right now. So the environment is being created by the government schemes and policies, so that anybody and everybody who wants to export products is facilitated in that endeavor.
And so you
The policy of the government that our manufacturing should become 25% in the long term of the GDP. So that process has to be helped by the MSME sector, as that is a large number of enterprises, and better quality, better ambition, the idea of becoming bigger and bigger as an entity, that will help in creating that sigma impact. The future looks very, very bright with the kind of things happening internationally and the kind of support India is getting and the kind of approach that we have as a government, as a policy maker, and the kind of the population that is getting trained and skilled and so on. So the demand for Indian products is bound to increase, and I would request through you to reach out to the maximum number of people, so that any free trade agreement requires a lot of preparation for the manufacturers and exporters to take benefit. So that's a very, very important area of preparation by all the stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.